So BTS has officially dropped their new album, Map of the Soul 7. I ordered version 2 and it's so beautiful. From the inside it almost looks like a book. I won't go through an unboxing of the album, but I am going to talk about the album. The album has a clear storyline throughout all the songs, which we're going to discuss, and I'm going to go through each track and just kind of give you an idea of what the album's like if you haven't bought it yet, if you haven't listened to it yet. So let's get started. I'm not gonna talk about the first few songs on the album that we already got in the mini album Map of the Soul Persona, since I'm sure you've heard so many people talk about them already. So I'm gonna start with Interlude Shadow. This is one of my favourite tracks on the entire album. It's just Yoongi who does the interlude. His rap in the song is absolutely fantastic. Yoongi is one of my favourite rappers in BTS, and this song to me just shows exactly why. I love how personal Yoongi's lyrics always are, and I love the way this beat works. The song on the album is slightly different to the version we heard in the music video, so when I started listening to the album, I really loved that I got to hear a different version of the song. This song is an amazing transition from the more upbeat beginning of the album to the more darker tone of the middle of the album. The song talks about having a shadow, not knowing what to do with it, and it's very clear in this song that the shadow is overtaking the person. This song is then followed by Black Swan, which was one of the first songs to properly be released from the album. Again, the version on the album is very different to the version we saw in the music video. I personally prefer the version in the album just because it's a bit more cohesive for me. The song is so different to anything we've heard from BTS, so when this came out, I really had high expectations for the album. I loved the concept of a black swan and about having almost this other personality, this alter ego inside of you that you don't know what to do with. The music video really captured how hard it is to get rid of this and how it can overtake you. The performances of Black Swan were absolutely fantastic. The choreography was beautiful. It was a beautiful contemporary style, which actually worked very well with the almost more trap beat of the song. What I do have to say, however, this was not my favourite song, just because I love being able to really hear every voice in the song, and this song had quite a lot of audio distortion and voice distortion. I'm not talking about autotune to make them sound better or anything like that, but it just distorted the audio a little bit, and I found it very difficult to differentiate between each voice. I know that's something a lot of ARMY had when the song came out, and Twitter just went crazy because everyone was kind of confused as to who was singing which part, which was very funny, but to me that's kind of a negative of the song. We then get to our first solo song on the album, Filter, which is Jimin's solo. When the song starts, it really gave me Shawn Mendes vibes with just the guitar, but I actually really love this song. It's so different to what Jimin's done before. If you're familiar with Jimin's solo songs, including the SoundCloud songs like Promise, they're usually very calm, very peaceful, very quiet, and this is very different. It's much more upbeat, which means that if he does a performance of it, it will be very different to the performances we saw of Serendipity. His vocals in it, of course, are absolutely amazing. I absolutely adore Jimin's voice, and the lyrics are so beautiful as well. It talks about when you're having a bad day that you can look at BTS, you could use their music as a sort of filter to look at the world through. Then we get to the next solo song by Jungkook called My Time. This is an absolute tearjerker just because of the meaning of the song. Jungkook describes his time with the boys and with ARMY and how it's changed him as a person. The song really showcases why he is the main vocalist of the group. He has beautiful harmonies throughout the music that complement the instruments so much, and just his vocals in general are absolutely amazing. That combined with really emotional lyrics means you're in for an emotional roller coaster with this song. Then we get to the next song, which is one of my favourites again on the album, called Louder Than Bombs. This is the first song after Black Swan that we hear all of the boys come together again. This song talks about trying to overcome this shadow that they've been talking about. However, in this song, it's still very clear that they're not sure how to do this yet. It's still a process they're working on. I love this song because it has such an interesting vibe to it. It has beautiful key changes, which gives the song a very mysterious vibe to it. To me, the beginning of the song almost had Bury a Friend by Billie Eilish vibes to it, which I love because I personally love Billie Eilish as well, and I know the boys are a big fan of her as well. This is then followed by On. On is a huge change in the album. On talks about accepting your shadow and being able to live with it, not having to fight it. This song marks the end of the dark patch of the album and marks the beginning of rebirth. This song was released together with an absolutely beautiful music video. If you haven't seen it yet, you definitely should watch it. It is so beautiful. The dance is amazing, the vocals are amazing. I love this song. It's become, at the moment, my favourite on the album. This song shows that the album really has an entire journey going through it and really shows how the boys are progressing throughout it. This is what I love about the album. They took almost a year to write it and it really reflects in all of the songs. This is then followed by Ugh, which is just the rap line. It's almost like a continuation of Cypher and I love it. It met all of my expectations for a rap line song. I love how crisp the vocals are. They really stand out over the music. You can hear every word they say. You can hear the pronunciation very well. What I also love about the song is that it's not a diss track. It talks about negativity, about how of course it affects them, but they don't need it anymore. They don't listen to it anymore. We then get the next song, 0 O'Clock, which is just a vocal line song. I really love this song. This is a really calm song after an upbeat track, and it's all about resetting yourself. The meaning of the song is basically, don't keep thinking about the mistakes you made in the past. You can treat every day as a new day and you can try and change yourself every single day. This is something I relate to a lot. Having moved a lot, I always try to reinvent myself in every new school that I went to. It also talks about acceptance of yourself, and that means of your good side and your bad side. It's okay to have flaws, it's okay to have made mistakes. I love this song. This is definitely something I will listen to when I'm feeling very stressed out or when I just need some time to reflect. We then get to the next solo song, Inner Child, which is Taehyung's solo. When I heard this song, I immediately knew it was going to be Taehyung. It screams V. After hearing Winter Bear, this kind of falls into that kind of genre of music. It's very calm but very Taehyung. What I love about this song as well, apart from his amazing vocals in it, is the message again. Taehyung has talked very often about his struggles being a K-pop idol. I think this song shows that he's been reflecting on his childhood and how happy that childhood was, but being able to look back on it without longing back to that time, but just being happy that it happened and being okay with the fact that the time in between wasn't always perfect. I think it's a very important song because it touches on something that a lot of us do. We always reflect to past times and usually look at them through pink glasses. And this song talks about how it's okay to look back at those times and think and still long to them at times, but see that what you have now is just as good. We then get the next song, Friends, which, I mean, it almost doesn't need an explanation. This is a song by Jimin and V, and it talks about their friendship. The lyrics in the song literally are, "You are my soulmate." The song showcases the strong bond that they have that we've seen grow throughout these 7 years. I also can't wait to see a performance of this song, and I wonder how they're gonna do it. We then move on to the song Moon, which is Jin's song to ARMY. I feel like Jin does this a lot and I absolutely love it. I feel like he very often thinks about ARMY when writing his songs and when performing his songs. I remember at the end of the last tour, he said that for the next tour, maybe he wanted his solo song to be more upbeat. And this song is exactly that. I'm really intrigued to see how he's going to perform this on stage. We by now all know that Jin is absolutely amazing at dancing. He's proven it to us over and over and over again, even though he's not part of the dance line. And I really wonder whether during the performance he will do some sort of dance, since this is not the type of song he can just sit and perform. However, either way, with Jin's amazing vocals, I don't think it really matters what he does because I will love it either way. Then we get to one of my new favourite tracks on the album called Respect, which is performed by Namjoon and Yoongi. This has one of the most interesting beats of the entire album. It has an almost 80s, 90s R&B trap beat, and I'm infatuated with it. I have it on repeat. It's perfect to walk to, it's perfect to just listen to at home, it's perfect to work to. It's literally a perfect song. The lyrics of the song are amazing, as you would expect from a collaboration between Namjoon and Yoongi. They talk about respect and about how you deserve respect and what the word respect actually means. The lyrics are really impactful and they really make you think about how often you use certain words. I think this is actually really important. I think a lot of people very often just use words without actually thinking of the meaning of them. This goes for loads of words like anxiety, depression. How often do you hear people say, "Oh, I'm so depressed today," and don't actually think about what that word really means? I think this is the same way, but I also think this is a self-reflection for them. Another important part of society that this hits on is about being able to show how proud you are of your achievements. A lot of people think that when you talk about your achievements, you're bragging, and so this stops a lot of people from really presenting how proud they are of something that they did. I think BTS shows in this song that it's okay to talk about your achievements, to show off your skills without bragging, and it's okay to deserve respect for those and to request respect for those. We then get to the most emotional song on the entire album, called We Are Bulletproof, The Eternal. This is a continuation of We Are Bulletproof Part 1 and Part 2, and it's the end of the series. It is so beautiful. This is clearly a song to connect BTS and ARMY, just as Microcosmos is at the end of the first part of the album. I think what this also shows is that there was almost a sort of disconnect between BTS and ARMY in the middle part of the album, that they felt like no one really knew who they were, and neither did they. But now at the end of the album, they've come back to being BTS, to being with ARMY, but also being able to be themselves and have their own separate lives apart from being in a K-pop group. This song really talks about how we've gotten through this journey all together. To me, the song almost sounds like a goodbye, which makes me really, really sad. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen with BTS next year, but whatever happens, this is one of my favourite songs. The lyrics are, "We were only 7, but now we have you. Together we are bulletproof." And it really just brings the whole concept of BTS together. It shows that no longer BTS has to be the bulletproof shield for us, ARMY, but we can also support them and help them and protect them in a way. It shows very clearly that we have an equal friendship and an equal collaboration between each other. We then get to the end of the album, which is the final solo song. It's the outro, Ego by J-Hope. My housemate absolutely loves this song, and she's not a BTS fan, but this was her favourite song when I showed it to her. She has it on repeat all the time. It's such an upbeat song. It's typical J-Hope. I love it. The lyrics are amazing. The beat is amazing. And it really makes the album come full circle. It talks about accepting yourself, accepting that other part of you, accepting your ego, and not saying ego is like this huge thing that you should fight. His ego can help him, and his ego has brought him to where he is right now, and he's really proud of that. So that marks the end of the album. We've gone from a very happy message with Boy With Love to a very dark message in between, and then to acceptance at the end. BTS did an amazing job at making this album incredibly cohesive, and it really is a story if you listen all the way through. I also think the album is a huge thank you to ARMY for supporting BTS, for choosing BTS, and for always being there for them. BTS's career has really been a collaborative effort, while of course BTS are the ones who have written all these songs and who absolutely do the most work. There is also a big part that ARMY does. That goes from crowdfunding for hospitals for all the birthdays of the members, to insanely voting in all the awards, to streaming, which everyone has their different opinions on. I think it's also a chance for ARMY to thank BTS for everything they've done for them, and I think it's BTS recognising that they can see that they've really impacted people's lives, and to not take that as a big burden, but as something to celebrate. Overall, I'd say that this is one of my favourite albums. I definitely prefer it to the mini album Map of the Soul Persona. I'm so happy I have this version. I want to buy all the versions now just so I can get 50,000 new posters on my BTS wall. So tell me what your favourite songs of the album are in the comments below. Of course, if you disagree with anything I said, please tell me as well in a constructive way. We're all here to just listen to the album and share our opinions about it. Now let's go back to counting down the days until the tour starts and we get to see a whole bunch of very exciting fan cams. Bye!